Today, we're intervening in Libya. We're doing this in order to protect the civilian population from the murderous madness of a regime that, by killing its own people, has lost all legitimacy.
Well, who gave it that legitimacy in the first place? That's the uncomfortable question facing Nicolas Sarkozy right now. The fact remains, over the past few years, he has made a series of poor decisions in his dealings with the Arab world, which have left many either suspicious of his motives or convinced he never truly grasped the importance of the messages he was sending. For example, there was his much-trumpeted Union of the Mediterranean, launched with plenty of glitz and glamour 4 years ago, and promoted as an example of his strong leadership. Sarkozy's vision fizzled before it even began. Critics saw his warm embrace of Hosni Mubarak and other southern autocrats, and heard his calls for closer partnership with them. They also noted that to get Mubarak through the door, Sarkozy was happy to take the question of human rights off the table. Then there was his warm relationship with Tunisia's Ben Ali, a man whom Sarkozy commended for his human rights record. Tunisians beg to differ. When they rose in defiance, the French government read the situation there so badly that President Sarkozy had to sack his foreign minister for her blatantly close ties to the Tunisian regime. The initial French reaction to that uprising, and to the one in Egypt, seemed to be one of indifference. That's why his military display over Libya seemed so out of character. Could it have something to do, perhaps, with domestic concerns?
Sarkozy is deeply unpopular in France and faces a tough fight to win re-elections.
His political life right now depends on him projecting the air of decisive leadership. Events in Libya, therefore, fit the bill perfectly. Perhaps, though, they fit a bit too perfectly. Late last year, France and Britain decided to put on a war game, Operation Southern Mistral, which would involve thousands of military personnel and hardware from both countries. In this dream scenario, the two longtime military rivals would join forces in a long-range bombing campaign against a pretend southern dictator. The simulated war, condoned by a fictitious UN resolution, was scheduled to begin on the 21st of March of this year. But it was never played out. Or was it? The actual bombing of Libya began on March 19. Now, perhaps this is just a coincidence. Or perhaps it explains why a serious diplomatic approach never really got off the ground, because the bombers were already on the runway.